Okay, so we are live right now.
Okay.
Okay, Farooq, hi. Um, Hi. So today we are here in continuity with the celebrations for the Ocean Day, and I wanted to take the time to welcome you and introduce you properly. So you're Farukh Bloch, and you've worked for whale shark conservation for I think almost a decade now, and uh, we understand that in marine conservation there's biology of the animal can only take the conservation issue so much. There's like so many dimensions to animal conservation, and one of the most important and often overlooked is sociology and social sciences. So, what we are going to do essentially today is by using the example of the success stories of whale shark in Gujarat, and see if we can implement similar strategies and learn about the strategies that you've adopted with the WTI team. So I think we are very excited to learn from more from you and learn about the stakeholder dimension into that goes into marine conservation. Right? I'll just upload your slides now. And right. So
Yeah. Thank you so much, Samiha. So, is it visible properly now? Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Farukh Bloch. I am associated with India's leading nature conservation organizations, Wildlife Trust of India, and have been working for past 10 years in whale shark conservation project in the state of Gujarat. Uh, Before we begin, and meanwhile we are deliberating on this session, I would request all the attendees who have been part of this session, please write your respective names and name of the institution you are associated with, which will help us to keep the records of the session. And also, during this talk, if any of the participant has any questions, they can put they can put up these questions through the chat box here, or in the comment box, which will be addressed later after the session. So, in my today's presentation, I'll be briefly spot on the core strategies through which the role of community or the integration of the community with the conservation of marine megafauna that helps. And also, later I will also talk on how this the conservation strategies, and also the challenges while we apply this community integration model in any of the conservation programs. So what are the challenges and what are the strategies can be used? So I'll briefly talk on that, and further I'll talk about the India's most successful project, one of the most successful community-led conservation model of whale shark in Gujarat. This project was in association with Gujarat Forest Department and supported by Tata Chemicals Limited. But the great this is one of the greatest example of community-led conservation model in entire nation. So before we move further, I'll just talk about the so this year the theme of this World Ocean Day 2024 set by UN is awaken new depths. This means which means we need to highlight on like our all our previous efforts we have made for the ocean to safeguard our ocean was just have merely touched the surface, but there is a still long way to go. So probably we can think on that through several examples of where the community has played a crucial role in the conservation success. So, before we move further, let us just spot on how this community role, or while integrating the community, can can play like how this community role or importance of the community plays a crucial role in the field of conservation, especially the marine conservation and marine megafauna conservation. So, as Samiha briefly talked about, like she has already briefed that the often at times this community component has been overlooked by the scientists and the conservationists throughout the globe. But it is very essential now at this point of time to look at this component very specifically, because most of the conservation issues across the globe have uh, have been immersed because of the anthropogenic pressure created by the peoples around that particular geography. So it is very important to the conservation issues which are well known by the community of that particular region is greatest as compared to the other peoples who have been working to address those issues. So this is why the role of community becomes very specific and crucial in that conservation success. Also, the community dynamics. If we work with any community region, like where there is a conservation threat, it is very crucial. That is also very crucial to first understand the community dynamics. Like every community has their own specific characteristics. They have own specific dynamics, which is very important, very significant to understand first before we think of any community led conservation model in that particular region. Further, the local indigenous technical knowledge of the community and their historical experiences of dealing with the conservation threat, that also very important, because of which it is very vital to have a community led conservation model to address that particular conservation threat very significantly. uh, third point, I would elaborate on the co-management of conservation model. The example which I'm going to talk about in this presentation, that is from the whale shark conservation project. This project is actually indeed a greatest example of co-management, where the corporate, the government, the NGO, and most importantly the coastal communities all together has played a very a crucial role to contribute to the ultimate success of safeguarding the world largest fish in the on the coast of Gujarat. Further, this community led conservation model is also a kind of a decentralized and democratic process of conservation, which is very important, to ensure a sustainability of any conservation success, or the long term conservation model. It is also very important that half this the entire process of conservation is has been decentralized and democratic in nature, which helps to keep sustain this success for a longer period of time. And of course, one of the most benefit of this while we integrate the community with the conservation cause, that is a political influence, because the communities nowadays, if something which is very difficult to move here and there, it is very important to have a community or a political influence to that particular cause. So while you work, any conservationist or like any wildlife manager who deal with any conservation issues, if they work very closely, if they engage community in that level, that will uh, you know uh, that will be very important, that if so this particular point of political influence will be much beneficial. There are there are many strategies through which we can integrate communities with the conservation. I have just pointed out few of them. uh, Community-led conservation approach is should be there. Like this approach can if you address conservation issue of any region or any species, whether it is marine or terrestrial, you need and if you want to integrate those communities with that conservation issue, you should apply this community led conservation approach, which helps like which helps exactly to pinpoint that the issue. As I said, any community led conservation model can is mostly well sustained, and you need to further, if you need to strengthen that conservation model, you need to sustain the motivation level of that community, which has been raised through the course of several efforts to make that happen. The community stewardship out of that conservation model has also play a very crucial role. So if community comes forward to protect or to safeguard any particular species or a region, that is found that is a kind of uh, kind of a stone you have put up for a longer period of time, so you can ensure the sustainability. So the main course the main point of talking about the role of community in conservation success is the sustainability of that conservation model. So if, like, there are several other ways to deal with any conservation issues, but if you tackle the issue through community led conservation model, that ensures the sustainability for a longer period of time. And further, it is very, you can, how you can further ensure the sustainability, the engagement of the community is through economic upliftment and social welfare of that particular community, and also empowering the future generations. Some of the challenges, like, see, there are benefits of involving the community in a conservation course. On the other side of the coin, there are several challenges also while you integrate communities in the conservation model. So some of the challenges which have I have put up here from my past experiences of working with the fishing communities of Gujarat. The first and foremost challenge is to uphold the livelihood component or the cost of conservation, because it is very difficult to balance between the immediate economic needs with long term conservation goals of that particular region or the species. This particular point I will explain in detail through my the project case study on whale shark on the later part. The second second crucial challenge is the social resilience and cultural barriers. So, like, nation to nation, region to region, there, as I said, the community dynamics are very specific and different in nature. So it is not very simple to address. Like, if you have applied like, if you have applied the community-led conservation model of with one particular community or the region, it is not necessary that the same model can be replicated to some other geography. Of course, the nature of the community and the dynamics of the community might be different uh, through this aspect, like social resilience and and cultural barriers. Other point is lack of willingness for conservation and lack of capacity and resources. So these are also another very basic but very important challenges we face, like we researchers and conservationists face when we deal with the community programs. So, after talking about the strategies and challenges, let me go on the case study from my very own from the project, which is India's one of the most successful co-management and community-led conservation model by Wildlife Trust of India in partnership with State for Gujarat Forest Department and the supported by Tata Chemicals Limited, with support from the local fishing communities of Gujarat. So I'll talk about this model in detail. So, what was the conservation issue? The conservation issue was with this species was the pictures which you can just see on your screens. The direct hunting. So, fishers of Gujarat were used to involve in this very cruel practice of hunting this massive species all along the coast of Gujarat prior to decades. This has been history now, so don't worry that this practice is no more going currently on the in the state or anywhere in the nation. So uh, a very brief about this whale shark, like the global conservation status of this species, the whale shark is endangered. So till 2016 to 2016, it was in the vulnerable category of IUCN Red List. But later in 2016, the population status of the species globally was assessed, and the researchers have had to place this the status as endangered in the red list species of the IUCN, the global conservation status. This whale shark is the largest fish on the earth, can grow up to 18 meters in length and 21 metric tons in weight. Very limited information on population trend is available all along the globe, so researchers are thriving ways to find more facts about this majestic creature. The declining population The declining trend of the population globally has become a very alarming point for all the conservationists who are concerned with this species. So there are very several threats of ranging from direct threats like hunting, accidental catch, and collision with the boats and ocean pollutions. There are like number of threats which has propelled this the conservation status from vulnerable to endangered. And in our region, the most concerned threat is currently it is a accidental entanglement with the fishing gears of the fishers, and sometimes the collision with the boats. If I just talk about the distribution pattern of this species all along the Indian coastline, it is everywhere almost. But this majestic creature prefers to traverse or aggregate more oftenly on the coast of Gujarat, the Saurashtra coast of Gujarat, where I have been currently posted and based to work for this project. So Gujarat coast has significant number of records or records of occurrences oftenly, you know oftenly gets accidentally caught into the fishing gears of the fishers and observed by the researchers. This is the largest fish on the earth, but eats smallest creature in the ocean. So this makes very significant relation of this fish with the ocean ecosystem. So whale sharks are the filter feeder, and as they are the filter feeder, surface feeder, the ocean pollutions makes them very threatened to for their survival, because they have a feeding patterns to feed on the surface. And mostly we have observed, like in the Gujarat, Saurashtra coast of Gujarat, we have observed this population oftenly appeared near to the coastline. So ocean pollution makes them exposed to the threat. So when at times when this fish was brutally exploited by the fishers for the commercial benefit, at that time, like prior, I am talking about the year of 2000, 1999 and until 2000. In the year of 2000, the well-known well-known filmmaker, Mr. Mike Pandey, he he uh, uh, presented like he covered this entire conservation issues through a award winning film documentary called Shore of Silence in the year of 2000. It is available on the YouTube interface, and people can have access to that. That briefly that this documentary demonstrate on how the hunting practice was adopted by the fishers of the Gujarat at times. It was very pathetic. It is very pathetic to see the people are actually cutting the fins of the whale sharks, and just merely for some economic benefit. So that was the biggest conservation issue at the time. The protection and with respect like the protection and conservation was later started after this documentary, and in 2001 the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change put up this provided shielded this species with the legal protection, and included this whale sharks under the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So this whale shark became the very first fish to be protected and enjoy the highest level of legal protection in the country. And 2003, India successfully lobbied with the convention CITES, and it was included under the Appendix 2 of the CITES Act, CITES list. And although these legal protections were there, but the legal protection was not sufficient to ensure the survival of this beautiful creature in the Indian Ocean, and especially in the coast of Gujarat, because the hunting was on the mass level. So, and that was also attached with the commercial benefit, like some economic benefit by the community. So this was a very this was very kind of uh, very challenging situation at times. When so like if somebody can ask me, like somebody can just think of that situation, like people are getting some around like 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, and sometimes 3 lakhs, up to 3 lakhs also, for hunting a single whale shark. So it is very challenging to make them convinced or make them understand that you should not hunt this beautiful creature anymore, because like the conservation, it is very important to conserve the species and all. So communities will not trust you or will not listen you anymore, because the economic benefit was attached with that hunting practice. So merely the laws in place were not sufficient to ensure the protection or safeguard or conservation of this species. So in 2004, WTI and International Fund for Animal Welfare initiated this whale shot campaign, and this campaign was officially launched in the 2004-5 by Wildlife Trust of India in partnership with Gujarat Forest Department and Tata Chemicals, supported by Tata Chemicals Limited. So the main objective of launching this campaign was to first to sensitize the community, make educate and aware the community, and spread the message of conservation. Uh, it was very crucial and important to to bring some change in their perception, their behavior. Although that was not a very easy task, it was very challenging, and it was time bound. Like you cannot ensure the community behavior change in a very short period of time. It needs a long term investment of the efforts, and that is also very consistent efforts, so which we have made throughout these last 2 decades under this project. So I'll talk more about that. So this was a historical historical information of this pathetic condition or the hunting practices, which were the conservation issue of this species. uh, the campaign actually attempted to continuous, as I said, that it was a continuous efforts to sensitize the community. And every stage of efforts, we have engage the community at every level. So I'll tell you that this engaging community in any conservation model, although it is a exemplary like an example practice, but when you practice that this model on ground, it is very challenging to keep upholding the community motivation with all number of years you have been attempting to address this conservation issue. So continuous campaigning from 2004 till 2024, so almost 2 decades we have continued this campaign. And it was the campaign was uh, like there were several strategies to through which we have addressed or we have sensitized this community about the conservation issue of or the survival issue of this species on the coast of Gujarat. The first strategy was to make common people about the gentle things. So when we talk about integrating communities with the conservation, so community, it is very here it is very significant to define the communities. Communities have several subgroups. So there can be like in this example of whale shark conservation model in Gujarat. So the fishing communities of Gujarat being a direct the communities with whom you directly deal. So the community which directly deal with with the species or their habitat. So one subgroup, they are the active fishers who are operating in the sea for their livelihood system subsistence. There is there are another subgroups of community. They are the local the common civilians, like uh, those who are not actually directly associated with the fishing operations, but they are also a part of this region. And they are concerned, if the conservation course is coined only with the active fishers, that cannot ensure the success of this the community led conservation model. But also you have to ensure the another subgroup, which are they are the common civilians of this region. So they also need to be engaged in this conservation process. So making common people about the the need for conservation of the species. The second conservation strategy which we have adopted in this particular case study was the involvement of the most renowned spiritual leader, Sri Morari Bapu, who have addressed like to entire fishing communities on the coast of Gujarat in 2004, saying that the whale shark comes to our shores for for giving birth to young ones, or to just have a preferred habitat for feeding grounds. So that was merely a adhyatmic story which was briefed by addressed by Murari Bapu to the the fishing communities of the Gujarat and also the common civilians of the state. But it was very as I said in my initial slides, it was very challenging situation at times 2 decades back, when you just go to the community, say them stop hunting, but taking that message positively by the community, that was a big challenge. So this strategy of taking the spiritual leader into this conservation efforts, conservation education, helped a lot. So uh, immediately after this the emotional appeal by the made by Murari Bapu, the community has accepted in a very positive way. And they showed very stewardship towards this project, and they started releasing back this they mostly fishers stopped this bad practice of hunting at the time. So the third strategy was, simultaneously, as I said, this any conservation model which has engagement of the community, which is sustainable model, has to be a long-term conservation efforts. So has to be out of the long term conservation efforts made by the program. So it is also important to deal to include the next level of generation, the school children and the coastal kids in this conservation drive, because uh, out of my 10 years of experience of working with the fishing communities on the coast of Gujarat, what we have oftenly observed that the kids of the coastal communities do not, they mostly terminate their studies after intermediate or plus two. So it is and they very soon after they terminate their studies, they continue their occupational practice of fishing, like operating or helping their parents who are going into the sea for fishing things. So it is very important to strategically involve or make part of this conservation drive of the future generations, because very soon they will be a part of, like they will be a active fishers and will be oftenly dealing with this the survival threat of this kind of fishes. So whale shark is one of the example, but this model can be replicated to uh, any marine megafauna which has a similar kind of threats for their survival. So while we involve the students, coastal students especially, we have conducted several activities, kind of these paintings and sand art and elocutions and many other activities which actually uh, instill a sense of responsibility among these kids who are going to be active fishers, or the part of the these conservation programs later after their like if they grow up. So and one more point I would like to put up here, that is uh, any community-led conservation model should not be limited of educating, making aware, or campaigning with the communities and with the stakeholders. It should also be a kind of co-management model where there should be a stake of several stakeholders. So if a multi stakeholders comes together for a particular cause of conservation, will have a very ensured rate of success of that when we address any conservation issues. What has happened to this conservation model so far in Gujarat, where like not only the core stakeholders, which is the implementing partner Wildlife Trust of India, the custodian authority, the State Forest Department, and supported by the Tata Chemicals Limited and the community, but also the coastal authorities, where we in this case we have a municipalities and coastal towns has adopted. They also came forward and became a part of this conservation drive, saying that like they have declared whale shark as their city mascot. So total seven municipalities and nagarpalikas on the coast of Gujarat has adopted and declared whale shark as their city mascot. So this is a kind of example where you can involve the other authorities, coastal authorities, to be a part of this common cause. Also, similarly, the postal department of India has also came up with a special postal cover supporting the conservation drive for the whale shark in Gujarat in 2005. If we talk about the most significant campaign wins after this after series of successive years of successful conservation attempt in the on the coast of Gujarat, where the fishermen started releasing the accidentally netted whale sharks back to the ocean. And like within a that was within a nearly within a year of launching the campaign, or the first phase of the campaign, mostly fishers started releasing the whale shark, without thinking of any commercial opportunistic loss for them, or anything. So till date, nearly in past 2 decades, nearly 1,000 whale sharks have been safely released back to the ocean by the fishers, which were accidentally entangled in the fishing net. So very like within the first phase of this the successful campaign, uh, mostly the fishers have stopped the intentional hunting of this whale shark in on the coast of Gujarat. But also this the second most concerned threat for this whale shark was the accident, often entanglement with the fishing gears of the fishers. So from 2005 onwards till date, 1,000 whale sharks have been released. This project has awarded with several laurels and awards. It includes the BNHS awards by Green Governance, the Green Governance Award by BNHS in 2005. Gujarat Ecological Commissions in Gujarat awarded this award called the green practices of the state in this state in 2012. And most importantly, the UNDP India Biodiversity Award was uh, received by this project in 2014 by UNDP. So if I talk about this process of the conservation, where particularly while we are addressing the second most concern threat, that is accidental entanglement, often accidental entanglement with the fishing gears, that poses a great amount of threats on the survival of the species in the of the Gujarat coast. So when fishers actually voluntarily started releasing back this fish from their fishing gears, uh, they used to follow the method or the rescue protocol, like any fishers we have were found or observed the animal got accidentally caught into their fishing net during the fishing operations. They would they are very well motivated and educated that or sensitized that now they want to they want to release this animal and save this animal after by releasing from the net, by rescuing from the fishing gears. But doing so, they were they had to incur some economic loss of damaged nets. Like if they cut the nets to release the animal, they have to bear an economic loss of their fishing gears. So to support this economic loss, the Department of Forest of the Gujarat Forest Department of the Gujarat state came forward, and in 2007 on 7 they have announced a net loss compensation scheme, where every fisherman who release or save the whale shark, you know from the fishing gears, who have which is accidentally entangled into the fishing gears, if they release and in this process if they bear any economic loss, the department will compensate a monetary relief, a small monetary relief to that particular fishers from 2007 onwards. But in this process, the department has to have some evidences of that rescue or release. So earlier, what used to happen from 2004 till 2012, the fishers who actually do the rescue, of releasing the animal, they had to drag the animal. They had to call the rescue team to the spot, and in order to call the rescue team, they had to come drag the animal, netted animal towards the shore, just to have a proper mobile network to inform to the people on the land. So this was taking a much longer time, and it was this practice was posing a great amount of threat to the survival of that uh, the animal to be rescued, because a netted animal, if it is dragged far from the shore, from the shore towards the coast, it involves a great amount of risk to the survival of that animal. So in 2012, the project came out with a very beautiful scheme, which is community accepted, and a kind of technology introduction to this technology adopted by the community for the conservation course in name of self documentation scheme, where some of the fishermen were equipped with the film roll camera. If they get any whale sharks accidentally entangled in their fishing gears, now they do not no longer need to wait or inform any rescue team on the coast. Rather, they can immediately release the animal, taking necessary photographs for evidence purposes, and they can just submit to the forest officials for claiming the net loss compensation later on. So self documentation scheme was a novelty idea in this conservation course. However, this was possible because of the community acceptance. So here, when we talk about the community led conservation model, it is very crucial to assess the capacity and the willingness of the community, which I stated as a challenge to this community led conservation model, which has actually worked in this whale shark conservation model in Gujarat, where the fishermen very well accepted. So this self documentation scheme is well accepted by the fishers of Gujarat, and they have been practicing this concept in the rescue and release process of this whale shark model, and this is a very sustainable model. Although there was a need to upgrade this scheme. So earlier, when we introduced this self documentation scheme, we distributed film roll cameras to the fishers as a tool to document this rescue process. But what used to happen, there were some technical glitch, like the film roll gets stuck after some time. So the fishers cannot the tool cannot produce evidence of the rescue. And because of that, sometimes department was finding very difficult to pay the net loss compensation in lack of in absence of any proof. So in 2017, we introduced this mobile application called Wahali Voucher. So this was again well accepted by the fishers. Before introducing this new concept or upgrading this self documentation scheme, by introducing this mobile application, we again went back to the community and we assessed their capacity, the resources, and their willingness, whether they can accept or adapt this mobile application in the process of rescue or release or not. Fortunately, all the fishers were well equipped with their mobile devices, smartphone devices, and they accepted this concept. And we have already introduced this mobile application, which is installed in most of the devices of the fishers all along the coast, and they have been reporting these rescues. They are saving the animal and reporting these rescues through this mobile application. So this is again a technological upgradation in the conservation success, which is accepted and adopted by the fishers. So now let me just talk about some of the points or components on the how we have integrated these uh, communities, and with this science, like science of this uh, the conservation model. So the conservation contribution of local communities and the science component, where like how the community has also supported in contributing the scientific component of this project. So foremost and most importantly, the contribution of the fishing communities in the satellite tagging of whale sharks from Gujarat waters. Unlike elsewhere in the world, if we conduct any kind of research with the whale sharks or any marine megafauna of the in the Gujarat coast, and many of the maritime states of the India, it is very challenging that we can encounter the animal offshore, uh, free ranging animal, any marine megafauna offshores. Also in the case of whale sharks, it is very difficult. It is equal time it's very difficult to spot any free ranging whale sharks offshore. So if we want to conduct any research attempt, we have to rely on the community network. In case of We can conduct any research activity only when this animal gets reported by the fishers being entangled in the fishing gears of the fishers. So if it is nearby and within the range of contact or communication, the fishers network will be, uh, channelized to the researchers team and rescue team to, to spot the point offshore where the animal is trapped, accidentally trapped in the net, and the team can reach to the spot and do the necessary, like, required tagging or any research things. So, right from 2004 till 2024, we have been actively, the fishing communities of Gujarat have been actively partnered and contributing to this, the the scientific uh, component of this project, where, like, till date we have deployed, we have tagged eight whale sharks through satellite tags. And this project has been, in entire Indian subcontinent. WTI's whale shark project has been a pioneer in terms of satellite taggings of the whale shark and monitoring. Have We have monitored the migration pattern of eight individual whale sharks from the Arabian Sea, from the Gujarat coast, from 2008 to 2017, and the results have already been published through Frontiers in Marine Science magazine, and in collaboration with Ames Australia. In 2024, 23-24, again the Department of Forest, Gujarat state, facilitated WTI to extend this tagging program with five more satellite tags, of which two satellite tags we have recently deployed during this year beginning. And we have been hoping for good results from this. So what we have used recently, that was fin mount tags deployed on the first dorsal fin of the whale sharks. And this is some of the results from the previous eight tags we have deployed during 2016 and 17. One of the individual which was tagged from Virabal fishing harbor of the Gujarat. It traveled down south to Mumbai, Maharashtra, and then went to Gulf of Oman, like in the Arabian Sea. The Another individual which was tagged in 2017 from Sutrapada coast went down south to Lakshadweep Islands, then near to Maldives, and went to Somalian coast, and again returned back towards the down south of Indian coastline in the Arabian Sea. And we last transmission we observed that was from the east coast of India. So we could observe the migration pattern from west coast to east coast of India. So, but still, this study has to be continued with more intensity. Although we have these five satellite transmitters supported last year by the Gujarat Forest Department, but still we need to do more. We need to do more tagging to uncover uh, the facts of the migration by this, or the habitat used by this species in the Arabian Sea. This is a kind of mapping, or the migration route which was traveled by the second tagging attempt by the whale sharks. This project has been presented, or remain present in the international platforms throughout the span of 2 decades. It has got a significant attention of the international communities and the researchers, and this has been, part of all the international welfare conferences have been held throughout the globe, right from 2004, the first international welfare conference in the Perth, and the most recent was in before the COVID year, that was in the Perth, Australia, in 2019. So project has been, the project and uh, the India has remained a part of this, whatever conservation attempts we have. But when we go back to the international platforms and present this conservation model before the international communities, they are a bit surprised to see that the kind of approach which has it is very unique among all other kind of methods or methods people have adopted over the globe. So Indian approach of dealing the conservation course or the survival of this majestic animal is quite different from the global communities, so which makes it very unique. And also in India, in Gujarat, 2019, we conducted this regional whale shark conference, where the local fishers, the state forest department, and not only the stakeholders from the state, but also from the entire nation, and international delegates also came and participated this international whale shark, the regional whale shark conference in the Indian Pacific region. It was held in 2019 at Gandhinagar, capital of Gujarat. So uh, some of the important community-based conservation success aspects. So since 2004, like I'm going to talk about now on the conservation, like how you can say this conservation success has actually indeed implemented on the coast of Gujarat under this program. So the first point is like since 2004, when this conservation program was initiated, till date, during the course of 2 decades, not a single whale sharks have been intentionally killed or hunted by the people on the coast of Gujarat. So this is a most kind of success which has which is actually sustained on ground after 2 decades of such a long period of time. And this has become possible just because we have a very strong support or involvement or a sensitization of the communities, not only uh, the active going fishers, but also we have taken care of the future generations who are going to be taken a charge of the future fishing operations in the sea. So the another success point is like 2004 onwards, the fishers have rescued and released, saved almost 1,000 whale sharks which were accidentally entangled into the fishing net. If they were not released on time or they were not released by the fishers, might be for the economic benefit which they used to get while they were hunting. So they have saved 1,000 whale sharks, 1,000 individual whale sharks being killed from the accidental entanglement with the fishing gears. Now for like, if some like I would like to also point up here, if you more engaged with the communities for a conservation cause for any marine megafauna or any marine species or any wildlife species conservation, it will not only ensure you the sustainability of the conservation course, but it the if you engage with the community, if you make community engaged in that level, if you uphold their motivation level in that level, that can contribute to more than the expected results or the objectives. This is the example which justify to that point, which you know um, we, the fishers of Gujarat has not only saved 1,000 whale sharks, the adult grown whale sharks, but they have also spontaneously they have also came forward, started reporting and came forward by reporting this neonates evidences. So the fishers of Gujarat have started reporting the rescue of the neonates, which is already present in the Gujarat coast, but it was not so concerned for any of the community. So the intensity of involving the community may result in this kind of success. So after having a successful conservation attempts in the coast of Gujarat, WTI in association with IUCN in 2012 assessed all along the coast of India, which are the hotspot of or aggregation site for the whale sharks all along the Indian coastline, and the results came out like there are four most important or crucial hotspots of the whale shark aggregation all along the Indian coastline. On the east coast, there is Andhra Pradesh coast, the Krishna and Kakinada coast, Gujarat of course, and in Maharashtra, Malvan coast, Karnataka, around the Netrani Islands, and in Lakshadweep Islands. So these are the four major aggregation hotspots on the west coast of India, and Andhra Pradesh, Kakinada coast on the east coast. It was surveyed and founded that the whale sharks are aggregating. So then WTI decided to extend this the conservation outreach or the community-led conservation model to the later, to the other concerned coastal maritime states of the nation, where the Kerala and Lakshadweep initiated first, making the common people about. So it was very simple, like the community led conservation model, which got very successful in the state of Gujarat, was completely replicated in the southern state of India, and that there also it has started showing the results. The similar strategies of involving the future generations, the life size inflatable model, which is a very effective tool of communicating or educating, not only to the fishers but also the common civilians of the region. So kids started getting sensitized. The coastal kids especially started getting sensitized of this species. Frequent consultations, and I would point up here throughout my experiences with this project. See, any community-led conservation model can only be, most successful only when the program has able to maintain a continuous and consistent touch or kind of connectivity with the stakeholders, especially the communities. So the resource dependent communities. So this has been actively taken care under this program. So whether it is in Gujarat also, in Kerala also, the team has already always been in touch with the fishing communities in by conducting several awareness and training programs. So you can see here some we have, like, throughout the year we have been conducting several activities which keep them very engaged and active with this conservation course, conservation success. And believe me, every time when we go back to the community, we always give them the feedback, like, your contribution to this conservation cause has resulted to this cause, and if there is any chance through which we can capitalize the community pride, we can capitalize the community pride in front of them through media releases or the public awareness events or anything. We always give them back the results and the credits or the conservation pride back to them, so that helps a lot to sustain their motivation level, the raised motivation level of the community, and that will give you back more than the expected goals or conservation objectives. So there also, although the fishing practices are the fishing methods are different, they most of the fishers use shore scene fishing method. So there also there is a frequent occurrence of the whale sharks using habitat of the coast of Kerala. So the fishers there also started releasing back these native whale sharks, and till date about like 17-18 whale sharks have been freed by the fishers of Kerala, fishers of the Kerala and Lakshadweep islands. And as I said, that following the Gujarat model, if we haven't missed any single opportunity where we can give the conservation uh, pride credit to community, uh, like if they have contributed a very little part, or they have played a very little part in this conservation course. So this works, this works as a fuel in the, or blood in the veins. So if you want to ensure that you need more community cooperation, you should always keep them in the center. And if it is a decentralized process, then they should be the heroes of that decentralized conservation model, or a decentralized conservation process. So very few slides here on like how we can help. As I said, the whale sharks is a filter feeder animal, surface on the feeds on the surface of the sea, and mostly observed near to the coast. The ocean pollution, which not only helps to safeguard this survival of this whale shark, but also every each and every marine megafauna, or the marine creatures who are affected because of this ocean pollutions. So on this occasion of this World Ocean Day, we all should uh, all should take a place to not uh, you know we should keep our oceans very clean and healthy. We should always promote any individuals who contribute to keep clean our oceans. We should appreciate those efforts. And as a part of this community-led collaborative co-management model of the whale shark conservation model, in any of the states in Gujarat, or being replicated in Kerala coast, we have always been conducting this uh, the coastal cleanup and beach cleanup activities as a part of this program. We have always been and these are some kind of uh, uh, tools through which we can keep engaged. Like, it is very important, very crucial to keep on community. The community should every day, when the community comes to their landing center, they should see the message of conservation. And like, this is one of the example where we have created this massive size of wall painting, through which the fishers on the this particular photo is from the Mangalore harbor of the Karnataka coast, where we have made available this wall painting. So the fishers who are daily uh, coming their occupational site, they will have this visuals of this. So the masses will be alarmed each and every time to the minds, which makes them keep engaged with this conservation course. So here I'm ending my presentation. I have tried my best to present this conservation, the case study of the community led conservation model, or the success story of the whale shark conservation project in Gujarat by WTI, which is one of the finest example where the community has been engaged in every stage, every efforts of the conservation success. So with this, I ends my presentation. I am thank you everyone. I'm thankful to Wildlife Institute of India and Team Dugong by WII Camper Project, Samiha and team. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present this case study of the community-led, most successful case study of the community-led conservation model in India by WTI. And thank you very much.
Oh, Farooq, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you so much for, sharing so many insights. I think it's hard for us to even, situate or fixate to one advice. There's so many in just one. So we do have a couple of questions that we would love you for you to answer. Uh, so this question is from Amir, and he's saying. He asks, "How do you address the conflicts of interest between conservation goals and livelihood of local communities?" And the second question is a follow-up question to that is that what are the biggest challenges we face when getting the community to engage with the conservation initiatives?
Yeah. So lovely, very important question by Amir here. It's I would say, look, so that was the very first point of the challenges of this when you integrate communities with the conservation goals. So this is a first and very important crucial challenge, upholding their livelihood, and I would say I would use the term of cost of conservation beared by the communities, the stakeholders. It is very difficult, very challenging, frankly speaking. So as in through my experiences of working with these fishing communities of Gujarat for this conservation course, I must say that any conservation success, community led conservation success, needs needs to address the livelihood issue of that community. If they have beared any opportunistic, so like any resource dependent communities who are rely on that the on that wildlife species or resources. If we make them compelled to, or make them involved, or make them motivated to contribute, or to stand for to safeguard that species, uh, or that to address that conservation course, uh, we should think of their from their perspective also. So अगर कोई भी कम्युनिटी मॉडल में, कम्युनिटी लेड कंजर्वेशन मॉडल में, जैसे ये वेल शार्क कंजर्वेशन मॉडल का जो केस स्टडी मैंने बताया यहाँ पर, उसमें monetary relief by the state forest department started from 2007, which was one of the, like, वो एक उनका उनका जो opportunistic loss जो है उसको compensate नहीं कर सकता, but it has played a role of remedy for them to some extent. और उसके साथ साथ अगर हमने एक जो नॉन मॉनेटरी, एक 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 जो मैं आमिर यहाँ पर आपको मैं एक इम्पोर्टेंट ट्रिक जो दे रहा हूँ, उनका लाइवलीहुड आप भले ही मतलब ऐसे एड्रेस ना करें, बट देर आर सर्टेन अदर वेज थ्रू विच यू कैन एड्रेस देयर लाइवलीहुड ऑप्शंस, और यू कैन कंपनसेट देयर अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक लॉस. हाउ? थ्रू कैपिटलाइजिंग द कम्युनिटी प्राइड. सो अगर कोई कम्युनिटी ने कंट्रीब्यूट किया है टू दैट कंजर्वेशन सक्सेस, देन जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आप दे सको, क्रिएट कर सको, वो अपॉर्चुनिटीज से यू हैव टू कैपिटलाइज द क्रेडिट और द the community contribution in name of conservation pride for them. So this is how you can compensate their, or you can address the conflict between the conservation goals and the community livelihoods.
Thank you, Farooq. The second question that we have is from Oishini. She says, in your opinion, what are the best practices for community engagement in marine megafauna conservation, which you've addressed? And second question is, what should you keep in mind when scaling up these practices now that we have already been practicing some of the, so not all of the practices that we use with community for community engagement works, and so how important is uh, you know customizing the awareness programs to specific to a region, and how do we sustain it or scale it up to reach the masses?
Yeah, so certainly the second question is quite interesting. Uh, it is very important to understand the community dynamics. As I said, every community has their own specific dynamics. So first you need to understand the community dynamics, their preferences, their cultural and religious values, their interest or willingness to be, to be a part of or to contribute to whatever extent they can, their ability, their capacity. So these are the important factors you need to assess while you are dreaming or you are planning to initiate any community led conservation program for any conservation uh, course. So these are the important factors you should consider. Sorry, you are not audible, Samiha.
Sorry.
uh,
Okay, so we have another question, and Amir is asking again that how do you ensure long-term sustainability of conservation efforts with initial funding? So, what we always experience with our projects is that the funding has ended. Now that we have scaled it up, suppose now the model is working, but the funding has ended. So, what do we do in that scenario?
so if I just take if I just take some experiences from my project. Funding sustainability has been issue with this, with the Welshire project by WTA in Gujarat also, but it has not been stopped for a day also in the span of 20 years. If I just reveal here, in last 5 years this project has merely a funding support of 5 lakhs rupees, 5 to 6 lakh rupees, which is not at all sufficient to support the staff cost also. But still this project has never been stopped in past 5 years, especially after these covid days. So even though the project has a great challenge of striving the existence because of the lack of funds, this project has not stopped. And the reason why is because it is a community led conservation model. So if I just spark on the threats of this conservation success, which was primary threat was the intentional killing, intentional hunting by the fishers, which has already been addressed through emotional appeal or the kind of the sense of responsibility among the community and the community pride. All these factors have led to that to address that particular threat of direct hunting. The second concern threat, or which is currently prevailing, which is a often accidental entanglement with the fishing gears. This threat has already been addressed by the fishers themselves. So even though if there is no any implementing partner currently available to support this, to drive this project, the communities have taken that conservation issues on their hands. Now community themselves are releasing. So this is how you can the the most important point of any community led conservation model is that itself increases the possibility of its own sustainability, which is a case of this Welshire project also. So this is how you can ensure funding. If even though if you don't have any sustainable ways of funding, the project can sustain on their own if it is a community led conservation model.
Right, right. So to summarize, I think it's you have to first address and pacify the main core problems. And if those problems are arising from, say, for your subject, your model, which was mostly because of fishing and net entanglement, right,
Right.
and hunting. So if you pacify and those problems and give it in the hand of the community, then it is a self-sustaining. It becomes initially like ultimately it becomes a self-sustaining model, and it
Right.
can go on without funding. Thank you so much, Faruka. Thank you so much, and I congratulate you and your entire team and of WTI for this amazing project. And I congratulate you specifically for the success of this conservation of this animal. And thank you so much for having us. And we'll probably see you again, inshallah. Right?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, entire team of Dugong Project and WII for hosting this wonderful occasion. Although, we could not do this event on as planned on 8th of June, when it was
Yeah.
actually World Ocean Day, because of the Johnson Sir's demise. We with this we adhere to Johnson Sir. This particular webinar is dedicated to
Yes.
his beautiful soul, peace in rest in the peace in the.
Rest in peace, Johnson, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Faruka.
Thank you. Thank you so much.